Math is a wonderful thing. Math is a really cool thing. So get off your ass, let's do some math. Math, 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 math. And 54 is a 45 more than what is the answer, Marta? 9. And that's a magic number.
Rules for adding integers. A negative plus a negative is a negative, and then you add them together. For example, -3 plus -4 is -7. When adding a negative integer and a positive integer, you take the sign of the large number and then you subtract.
For example, -20 plus +5 is -15.
A positive plus a positive equals a positive. Rules for subtracting integers. A negative integer minus a negative integer can either be a negative or positive integer, but it is all depending on whether or not the first integer is larger than the second integer. For example, -5 minus -4 equals -1, and -4 minus -5 equals +1. When subtracting negative and positive integers, take the sign of the large number and add them.
A positive minus a positive can either be a positive or a negative, depending on how large
For
the second
example,
number is.
+4 minus +2 equals +2. Rules for multiplying integers. When multiplying a negative and a positive, the answer is negative because there is an odd number of negative integers. For example, +4 times -2 equals -8. Huzzah! When multiplying a negative times a negative, the answer is positive because there is an even number of negative integers. For example, -3 times -2 is +6. A positive times a positive is a positive because there are no negative integers.
Rules for dividing integers.
A positive divided by a negative is negative because there is an odd number of negative integers, and it is the same for vice versa. For example, +4 divided by -2 equals -2. A positive divided by a positive is a positive. Yay!
For example, +10 divided by +5 is a +2. A negative divided by a negative is a positive because there is an even number of negative integers.
For example, -8 divided by -2 equals +4.
This podcast was created by Caitlin, Stephen, and Rob.
The end.